Yo, yo. Good news today. Come on now. Let's go. Y'all come in the comments. Are y'all out there? Middle of the day. Y'all here?
Everything. Come on, come on.
Let's go.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life.
Yo, turn my mic up. Y'all ain't see this coming.
Yo, yo.
Get ready to catch this. Come to
Y'all
snatch your
come
righteous
on
mind,
in.
not your edges. God is the goal, and then there's the period. This thing is real. Woo cha, we serious, intentional, original. God is in control. Do it for your soul. Gotta let the whole world know. Hey yo, hey yo.
Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Gonna hear some good news today.
Yo, what's up, Taryn, Betsy, hippie chick, Cassandra. Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm just coming in last day of the year just to show some love and to have a conversation, talk about 2021, talk about next year. And I got my homeboy to come in and we just gonna chop it up. So share it on Facebook, invite folks to come in and join us. Yo, Brian Laritz is in the building. Y'all give it up for Brian Laritz.
Pastor, are we
My
rapping
man.
now? Are we rapping now?
Well, you know,
Is
I
that
got
what we doing?
bars. You know, hey, let me tell you something. You got to have multiple streams. So I'm open to whatever I can. I'm trying to get a deal with Lecrae. I'm trying to
I
get my
love
man
it.
Lecrae to get on it. Doc, how was Christmas, man?
Man, Christmas was great, man. I got adult kids now, Doc. So one's in Arizona, one's in Cali. My youngest is a junior in high school. So just to have the whole family at the house,
Oh, wow.
and with young adult kids, when they're little, they waking you up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you kind of going, we gonna get up
Yeah.
and open gifts
We gonna
today.
open
What's
anything
going on?
today? Now, Doc, did any girlfriends come over for Christmas?
Nah,
No,
nah,
none of that yet.
none of that, none of that yet. So they got girlfriends and they keeping mom and dad in the dark, or they didn't inherit their father's game.
Oh
So
Lord, have mercy. Well, we don't want to talk about your game, Doc. You got to spot it. God delivered us from a lot of things, Doc. You got a
um,
testimony, Reverend. You got a
mo-
testimony,
moving right along.
Doc. Man, Christmas Eve, Doc. Omarion came to our house, and he wouldn't leave, Doc. Omarion been in our house the whole time, so we got hit with COVID this Christmas.
How's everybody doing, man? Is everybody
Everybody's
okay?
doing good. Mild symptoms, like you can hear it. I got a little throat thing going on. But Doc Omarion came up in here dancing and moving around and stuff. I couldn't even have. So we quarantined because everybody didn't get it all at the same time. So somebody got it, everybody else was negative, then somebody else tested. So we quarantined all in the house, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked for a couple of days. It was like everybody go to your own corners. You ain't got to deal with
Right,
nobody else. We was
right.
FaceTiming each other to have family time. So Doc, it was crazy. It was crazy. But we had a really good Christmas. Man, Betty White is gone, Doc. Betty White is gone.
She's gone, Reverend. She's gone.
99.
99. They was planning her 100th in a couple weeks. I think January 17th, something like
January
that.
17th was her 100th birthday.
100th back. 100th.
2021 was like, nah, come on,
No,
Betty.
no.
We,
Yeah, the
we
last
ain't
of the Golden Girls,
the
Doc.
last of the Golden Girls, Doc. Did you grow up? Did you watch the Golden Girls?
Nah, that wasn't my thing. So I was an so all that stuff I think was on NBC, I think. I was a Knight Rider guy in Miami Vice on Fridays. And then of course, in our era, Thursday nights,
Oh
we had
yeah,
Cosby and
a
Cosby
different
Show and a different
world.
world. So
Yeah,
those were kind of
yeah.
my four shows. I never got with Golden Girls.
See, Doc, that's a whole nother time. Like, shows was on a night and a channel.
You know what I'm saying?
Like now, if I don't want to watch it Thursday, I watch it Wednesday. I watch it whenever. Like, you had to be in the room, and if you weren't there, it was just gone.
Or not unless you got the new, which was the VCR, right? And
Yes, and could figure it out. Can figure out
Right.
how to record, because that was a whole nother thing. You could get it to play movies, but if you could get that thing set, like what women got it set to record Young and the Restless. Them soaps, let me tell you something. They'd have them things locked on there and will dare you to mess with that VCR and mess up their soaps.
Absolutely, man. And getting up and having it's so funny, man. When my kids were little, of course, our kids missed all that stuff, right, man?
Oh, yeah.
But when our kids were little, we took them to Philly. That's where my mom's from, and to my aunt's house. And my mom says she has the same TV that my mom grew up back in the 60s. I find that hard to believe, but it's old school. And my kids sat down, and they kind of had this weird look on their face. And after about 15 minutes, I was like, well, what's going on, y'all? It was like, how you turn this on? I said, well, you got to get up off the sofa. And that button right there, you got to hit that button. They was lost, man.
And I'm sure that was like, why does it have two sundials on
right.
it? You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
changing the channel. It all depends on where you were in the journey. Doc, I just grew up thinking once something was broke, it was broke. I think I was in my 20s before I realized you could get stuff fixed.
Oh,
Like once the
absolutely.
screen door got bad, it's just bad now. It's just a bad
Absolutely.
screen door. That's just how it is.
Absolutely.
Once that knob was gone, the pliers,
The pliers, Doc,
that's the new normal. That's normal now.
tinfoil on the rabbit ears.
Yes, Doc.
all that stuff. Hey, you know what's a trip? I know you've had the same experience. I could take my kids to the nicest hotel in the world. Like I'm feeling good. We gonna kick it. Their first observation and question is always, "What's the Wi-Fi?"
What's the Wi-Fi password?
Like
Yeah.
that's the first thing. I mean, it's just a different world, Doc.
It's like you got TVs, you got everything else. All you want to do is what you could have done at the house,
Right.
on the couch. You on
Right.
your same device. I could have
Right.
saved $800 a night trying to show you a good time. You know what?
Right.
I'm just gonna leave you at the crib with your iPad. That's
Right.
everything. That's
Right.
everything. Now it's New Year's Eve. What do y'all have New Year's Eve traditions?
Reverend, let me tell you. So I'm in this multi-ethnic space, Doc. So there's this white church we're working with who's trying to transition into multi-ethnic. So they said, well, we're gonna do a watch night service. I said, all right. Doc, one of my sons in the ministry is preaching watch night. I said, all right, Reverend. Well, I'm gonna come through. He says, "Now it's different." I said, "How so?" He says, "It starts at 10:30 and ends at 11:30." I said, "What?
Huh.
A watch night that don't go into the new year?" He says, "Doc, it's only an hour and we out at 11:30 sharp." I've heard of
Wow.
watch night services where you've got two services, right?
Right. Well, one earlier, but one clearly goes to the next morning.
Absolutely.
One
Absolutely.
clearly goes. Now, Doc, these folks in here, some of them have no idea what a watch night service is. Give them the history. Tell them what a watch night service. Because here's the thing: in the multi-ethnic space where I grew up, Christmas Eve was not a big deal.
Not at all.
We wasn't in church for Christmas Eve. We was at home. Everybody was over. We was hanging out, kicking it at the crib. I come to Pasadena, Lake Avenue, working at the first time you working at a white church. Oh, Christmas Eve is everything.
Oh,
They
everything,
doing
Doc,
extra
the
stuff.
candlelight
it's-
service.
Oh, bro, it's
Yeah.
a huge deal. But then I'm looking New Year's Eve. I've got my outfit ready for New Year's Eve service. They was like, oh, we don't have New Year's Eve service. We sit
Right,
on the
right.
street all night getting ready for the Rose Bowl parade.
Right,
The
right.
Rose Parade. So black culture, New Year's Eve was the night. In big white, most evangelical spaces, Christmas Eve was the night. What was the significance for New Year's Eve for the historic black church?
Well, so there's two major things that was happening on watch night. Historically, so Abraham Lincoln gives the Emancipation Proclamation, right? So kind of the first major watch night in our community that's tied into this anticipation of the realization of freedom
Freedom, yeah.
was December 31st, 1862, right? And it was the slaves. I mean, just imagine the energy that was in the place
Waiting on
when
the
they
call.
when they got together, right? And of
Wow.
course, as we understand, that really doesn't happen until the 13th Amendment is ratified in 1865. So that's one. But what people don't really talk about, and this is the tragedy, is that historically, January 1st was a big day when the slaveholders were kind of making their moves and selling slaves. That was a major, major day. So you would gather together as a local community in a church, realizing, Doc, this could be the last time we're together as my family. Like, I don't know if my
Wow.
wife's going down to Florida. I don't know if I'm going to be packed up to Alabama. So it was, we need to be together and we want to invite Christ into this space. Reverend, it's amazing in the Black
Wow.
experience that the church still means something to us in all
Yeah.
that we've gone through. We just didn't lose our hope, man. So
Yeah.
those are kind of the two big historical streams of Watch Night.
Wow. That's so, it's unbelievable, especially when they tried to use the church as a weapon against us.
That's right.
But we consistently would grab her beauty and her power and refuse the toxicity
That's right.
and the abuse. We as a people would always double down on who the church really was supposed to be and wouldn't buy the okey doke, which is so interesting now because I think this generation is just refusing to see the church for anything beautiful and allowing the toxicity that is always there, because if humanity is there, toxicity and abuse and sin is going to be there. I just see I think we need to help this generation see the beauty that is the church, even in the midst of the abuse that is the church. How are you navigating that tension? Do you see that tension?
Yeah, man. So I think there's a couple of things. I think one, we just need to be reminded of the strength and the resiliency of our community,
Yeah.
right? Like even if you, there's just something about our people where, Doc, we turned around and redeemed whatever you gave us.
Yeah.
Like literally, if you just look at it through a food lens. Oh, you want to give us what you don't like of the pig? Well, we're just going to take that and we're going to do our thing with it. And it's going to become this beautiful cultural tradition that we can hand out now. I don't do chitlins. So I just want to,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
kind of break.
Yeah, yeah.
You
But
know what
you
I'm
know
saying?
they don't smell bad if you take the membrane out.
So, but I'm all for deconstruction. If by deconstruction you're trying to emancipate Jesus from his cultural captivity and you're deconstructing Christianity, but you're not deconstructing the gospel and who Jesus is. That's the other thing. And I think, look, the other thing too is I never heard terms like mental health when I was coming up. And I praise God for that conversation because I really feel like in my late 40s, now that I'm on this mental health journey, there is, I feel like I'm almost grieving that I wasn't a part of this journey in my early years. So praise God for that. But I don't want to get lost in the mental health conversation, just the resiliency that our people had and the strength that they had. The stuff that I feel like the Black community is tapping out over now, I just want to go, look, I want to remind you of your big mama and how they would gather in the church right before they marched in the streets of Selma and Birmingham. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I want to remind you of Jesse Owens, who is going to walk into a stadium that he knows just about everybody's going to hate on him, but the strength that was there. Like, I think there's a way to do both. We can walk and chew gum. We can pursue mental health and be reminded of the legacy of strength that
Yeah.
we come from.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Now, do you do any like at the end of the year, some people reflect over the year, some people journal, some people set New Year's resolutions. What do you do at the close of the year?
Yeah, I'm always looking to get better. So I do kind of big buckets, like, and just try to do self assessments and even get with some of my close friends, and we just kind of check in with each other. We do this annual retreat every year. I was in a small group back in the mid '90s in Southern California, and that small group has stayed together, and we're always checking in. So, I got financial goals that I have every year. Broadly speaking, I always want to give more than the previous year, and I want to save more than the previous year. So there's that bucket. How
That's
how me and
good.
my wife doing? Corey and I were sitting down together and just processing. We're about to hit empty nest, and it's easy to get distracted in your marriage by your kids. And so we feel like there's a refresh that we need to go through. And what does that look like? I don't call them resolutions. It's just I'm trying to get better, get physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit. So yeah, I got broad categories. I don't call them resolutions, but
Yeah, but you'll take some intentional time and give some focus and some direction to them and kind of pay
that's
attention
right.
to that.
That's right.
That's really good.
What do
That's
you
really
do,
good.
Albert? Do you do something similar?
Well, I start off for sure, and this has been consistent for ever since we first started having kids with tequila shots. I just feel like
That's how you got that youngest.
who we call Little Tequila. Come here, Little Tequila. Uh, no, I start probably around December, just stopping and reflecting and just reviewing the year and just kind of giving it an assessment. It's amazing how you can just be running and have scars and have stuff that cut you, but you was just in it. So I kind of like stop and look around and see, man, am I cut somewhere? Am I holding something?
Yeah, that's good. That's
A
good.
lot of personal inventory. Am I harboring some unforgiveness?
Yep.
Am I pissed at someone and angry that I haven't given attention to or notice to? Do I need to sit with some? Are there some friends that because of my busyness, I just haven't reached out to that I need to because they fall in the category where they're good friends because sometimes like in ministry I could just go for 4 months and it just don't and I don't even notice and so reaching out to people love I just try to do self inventory and then I do like you I don't have resolutions or anything like that. We start with a fast. So our church and our community, Good News Today folks, we start with a fast. This is our first time starting tomorrow. I don't like starting on the first day of the year. I just don't think folks are in the right mind yet. But we gonna do it. We gonna try, and I'm pushing everybody. So we starting tomorrow. Um, and we'll do 21 days of just prayer and kind of consecration and fasting. And out of that, I pray that we get some God vision for where we're going. My goals don't mean nothing if God ain't inspiring them, and ain't, you know what I
Right.
mean. But to your point, there are just some basic ones that God has already spoken on. I don't need the
That's right.
Lord to speak concerning my
Right.
health.
That's
He's
right.
already spoken. I don't need the Lord to speak concerning marriage. So it's good to just get some good goals there. Man, me and La Rosa next year will celebrate 20 years.
My.
So that means for y'all, it's what?
We'll hit 23, man. We
23 years.
will hit 23.
Bro, marriage is different
It's different, Doc.
on the other side. It got different, Doc. It just got different.
Doc, I change. My wife changed. One of my favorite Mark Twain lines. He said, "My wife has been married to 5 different men, and all of them have been me." And there's truth to that.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
we grow, we change, we get different, and there's patience that we have to have, and there's no cruise control in marriage. I used to, we've seen it. You're out to eat somewhere as a family, and then you look across the room, and there's like this middle-aged couple. They look like they're in their 50s, 60s, and they're not speaking to each other. And and at least with me, you just kind of fall into this. I can't believe they're, you just judging them, whatever. Doc, the older I get, the more the more I get how it's easy to get into that space.
Oh yeah, well, we've been talking all day. I ain't got nothing to say right now. You got something to say? I'm
Right,
comfortable with the silence.
right,
Yeah,
right,
what you
right,
gonna get? You gonna get the same thing you've been getting for the last 6 years, and I'm gonna get
right,
this, and we gonna
right,
let's just
right.
sit here. But what'll happen though is you will miss the opportunity to discover who your spouse is becoming.
That's right. That's right.
And because we're always becoming, and if you just get set, then you will miss the new opportunities that may present themselves initially as friction and frustration,
Right.
but it's really an opportunity to meet somebody new that's
That's right.
evolving right in front of you that you've committed to love forever. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. And then I don't know. You've probably felt this, Albert. Like I've literally looked at Corey numerous times and have thought to myself. I mean, Corey, we just talking about this the other day. I'm 48 years old. We met when I was 24. I've known her half my life. There's a history here. There's just a history here, and I want to nurture that. I want to steward that. I want to keep that fresh. Like I don't want to take that for granted.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But you got to get in your game mode for that. If you get chilled and relaxed, the first thing you do is take it for granted and just assume, and that thing could be on cruise control. And you look up one day and you're like, whoa, what in the world
that's
happened?
right.
So I feel like the older we get, the more investment it requires, the
Yep.
more time it requires. Especially, we've got younger kids, so we still practices and therapies and all kinds of stuff we got going on. We got to be intentional about finding our way
That's right.
in that. So that definitely makes the goal list, the goal list. What y'all doing? What y'all doing tonight? Are y'all just chilling tonight?
Doc, we just chilling. Last night was movie night. Spider Man, all that stuff. And tonight's just a real chill. My oldest is back in Arizona. My middle son, I think he's hanging out with some friends or whatever
Okay.
tonight. I'm gonna watch a little football. But then tomorrow, I'm hanging out with one of my good friends. He's doing gumbo. Well, I shouldn't
Oh,
have said that
nice.
because y'all fasting. Y'all fasting.
Well, we're not going. I'm not gonna start until after 12 tomorrow. After 12 tomorrow.
So
Oh, so you're gonna do the classic gumbo kind of stuff? Hook it
yeah,
up.
man. And then I'll get back on my diet regimen after that. But we're gonna
Got
have
it.
some
Got it.
gumbo
Go.
first,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah. You gotta handle that. You gotta handle that. Man, what's something you've been sitting in the scriptures that's been enlightening lately? Like what's been something that's opened up to you here lately?
Man, I've been sitting there. It's interesting we're having this conversation. I've been just kind of hanging out in Galatians. Every year I've made it my aim, probably for the last 10 years, to just read through the Bible. And that's good. My problem is I was doing it more to just let me just get through this. And it's almost like you've been on airplane rides when the pilot said, I want you to look out to your left. We're passing over the Grand Canyon,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's how reading through the Bible in a year is. Like you're passing over it. And I just sense the Lord saying to me, I actually need you to just sit in the Grand Canyon. Like there's a way you experience it in an airplane, but there's a way you experience it just being in the midst of it. So I'm just working with smaller chunks of scripture. And this morning I was struck by, and I'll mess it up, but Galatians 4, Paul says, my little children, in whom I am in the anguish of childbirth until Christ is formed in you. And that whole idea, and you've been preaching on it, the whole idea of spiritual formation. Um, and we do that through the practices. Albert, we've been preaching a lot of years, and God's used you tremendously. I've seen God do some things through me, but the older I get, the less comfortable I am with giftedness, and I want to now really minister out of a deep place of intimacy. I want a father out of that place. I want a husband out of that place. And so, just what does it look like to really focus on Christ being formed in me? That's just where I'm just resting in. So, yeah.
Yeah, there it is right there. Galatians 4:19. Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, Doc, I'm excited. I got a book coming out, Reverend, in March, Doc. I got a book, How We Love Matters.
I
How
love
We
it,
Love
Doc.
Matters.
I'm so excited for you, Albert. I hope this is just the first of dozens of books. You have. There's a lot that God's given to you that needs to be in book form. And I hope that God expands your ministry and your territory and that this message gets out. I've read the book, it's a phenomenal book. You use your unique wiring of being able to take a story and to say it in such a way. Albert's the only one I know who can have you laughing and then it hits you on the car ride home. I think I just got spanked. But
Oh
the
my
book is
goodness.
so inspiring, man, and it's a needed contribution for this cultural moment that we're in. So
Yeah, man, I'm so excited. As you know, as I see your books behind you on the wall back there, Doc. So you have definitely paved the way. Man, has it been hard writing? I mean, I think you found your way now, obviously, but in the beginning, was it hard writing about race because of fear of offending or being misunderstood? Or did you find it liberating because you feel like, man, this is my best way of being understood is by putting it down?
yeah, see, I think well, that's a great question. I think what helped me was the ignorance of youth, right? You know what I'm saying? Like when you're younger, you just say stuff differently.
Yeah, yeah.
And it don't really work well in marriage. It don't really
No,
work.
no. Right.
So, if I'm writing my first book now, I think everything that you're saying I would feel intensely. But in my younger days, I just kind of said it, and that's why you have editors. That's why you have, you know what I'm saying? Folks like, I think we need to say this
I think you.
differently.
Hey, let me
Because at
tell
the
you
end of the
something.
day, we need white folks to buy this book.
Right. God, oh my goodness. There was a section where I was just going through titles, different titles, and one of the titles was Jesus and the N word. And Doc, my wife was like, well, I mean, it's different. And I call Ricky Jenkins, and he was like, do you want people to buy the book? Do you want people to buy the book? Do you want? Because the N word was neighbor. It was like a little play on words. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was like, "Do you want anybody to buy this book?" So it's funny. No, editors were good. I went off. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens, so I don't put her name
You
in the
don't love
book.
her, Albert? You don't?
I don't.
Why
I don't.
not? Why
I
not?
know. I mean, I know you do. But Doc, I talk about her in the book. I don't use her name or whatever, but I just go off. I could just tell that day when I was writing, I was extra. I think I used the word satanic and demonic. So my editor sends me the book back. She was like, thought you might consider showing a little more grace in this segment and such and such. And I'm like, what? What you doing? And I was like, oh yeah, I was on one. Your homeboy need to come down. Calm down. Like, I was like, demonic, satanic, evil forces.
I love it. You know what's interesting, Albert? I think what you'll discover is, obviously, Albert, you have a robust itinerant ministry. The shelf life for a great sermon is probably at least 5 years, right? I mean, you can take something that the Lord really used at Fellowship Memphis and just take that on the road with you. But the shelf life for a good book is decades. And what'll happen to you, Albert, is 15 years from now, you'll be preaching somewhere, Seattle, somewhere, and you'll get people who will say, man, I've been reading your book. And I'm talking about the book that's about to be released in March. And man, the way that's forming me and shaping me. And you're like, man, that's been 15 years since I wrote that thing.
Wow.
And it'll outlast, it'll go into the next generation, Albert.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Man, you said you look for opportunities to give more. And I just felt like it was divine that you even said that because
I know you,
I'm
Doc.
as a new author starting out, I could no not Devon, not to the church. This is Albert Tate. Uh this I could be a new opportunity for you and Corey to give. So as you pray about that, just you got my address. I'll send you my Cash App. You just bless a brother. Bless a brother.
Well, actually, Albert Tate Ministries,
Oh Lord.
ATM. Uh, ATMs typically dispense cash, don't
No,
they?
no. Well, eventually, ultimately, we dispense the glory of God. We dispense the glory. So you make a deposit, and we'll give you the glory.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh man. Well, Doc, thanks for coming on, man. Always good hanging out. We got a lot of big stuff happening next year that I'm really excited about. Now, are you in a book contract right now, or are
I
you
am.
working on?
I,
So
I
what's
just I literally just started writing 4 days ago. Um,
really?
it's 50,000 words. I'm like 8,000 words in. So, you know that process. It's due by May. Doc, the working title is Jesus and the N word. Um,
Do you want any white people to buy this book?
no, man, no. The working title is The Offensive Church, and it's a double entendre. It's what I'm trying to do is give people practical solutions on how to play offense when it comes to issues of what I call ethnic unity. And I feel like we're always in a defensive posture, right? So Ahmaud Arbery happens, our DMs blow up. What can I do? What can I read? And it's coming from a good place, but then the news cycle dies down. Breonna Taylor happens, we react to that. George Floyd, we react to that. When Jesus says, "Upon this rock, I'm gonna build my church, and the gates of hell won't prevail against it." That gates guard, gates play defense. So he postures hell as being on the defensive, and the body of Christ as being on the attack. And so we need to be discipling out racism. We need to be fast breaking on this thing. We need to be taking it to the end. And so this is a really practical how-to book. What does that look like as it relates to matters of ethnic unity, race, and so forth? So
Oh wow, wow. Now is the deal a one book deal or is there a second book? Is it a two book deal?
this one's a one book deal.
Okay,
This
okay.
one's a one book deal. I just signed with. It's my first time. I'm with InterVarsity.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
University Press. So I'm excited about them. IVP's just done a lot of great work in this space. So
That's gonna be exciting. Now, will you got till May? Will you just take 2 months and knock it out, or a month, or will you just spread it out and write a little bit at a time?
yeah, we all work differently, right? I got
Yeah.
friends of mine, they go away for 6 weeks and can knock it out. That's not me. I'm not an all day. It's a little bit here, a little bit there. If I have a good writing session for me is about 2.5 to 3 hours, anywhere between 800 to 1,200 good words, good words. So yeah, that's just how I work. I'm an early morning person. That's kind of peak production for me. So yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, bro, y'all have a good time tonight. I'll be here at the house with Omarion, uh, working through this COVID. Hopefully, it'll be gone
Unbelievable.
next week. I go in to do audiobook next week.
Let me know how that goes. I mean, I've had other people narrate. I've never done it, Doc.
Bro, you got to do it. Why not? Why you?
I've never even thought of that. I just never thought of it,
It's
Doc.
like I've never even thought of putting my voice on my books. I've just never. Doc, that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, I want to read this. Because I'll put my little inflection on it. I'll do my thing. You know what I mean. So we're getting it set up. I start. I
And
think
save the
Monday or
outtakes,
Tuesday.
Doc.
Oh yeah,
Do
yeah,
they do
yeah.
outtakes on audiobooks?
I don't know. I've
Doc,
I've
you,
never
you need
heard
to
anybody's
pioneer that.
outtakes. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I would love to do that. So I start doing that next week. So it's gonna be exciting, bro. It's gonna be exciting.
I love
Bet. Appreciate you, bro. Happy
Appreciate
New
you, man.
Year, y'all.
Feliz Navidad.
We starting fasting tomorrow. So get it out tonight, and y'all join us tomorrow. Don't get it out tonight. That's terrible spiritual instruction. Enjoy the Lord tonight, and we'll enjoy the Lord also for the next 21 days. How about that? Pass me my tequila bottle. All right, y'all.